My name is Magalie. I'm a nutritional therapist. I trained at the Institute of Optimum Nutrition, and I studied for about 4 years and a half to become a nutritional therapist. I am passionate about food. I remember being very, very small, about 5, 6 years old, and starting to cook with my parents and trying recipes. And my parents have always been very conscious about nutrition and eating well, and inviting a lot of friends around. So I used to do the puddings and the starters with my mum. So from a very young age, I was sort of surrounded by delicious and tasty food, basically. So I suppose it came naturally to me to be able to or want to try to help my clients with their habits. So I think what I really try to do, I provide different services. One of them is obviously encouraging people to eat healthily, but in a very simple manner, because I think there's a lot of confusion about food these days. So demystifying a little bit healthy food, because there's a stigma on it, I think. So and making it very practical, very simple, and very quick. Because I have a lot of clients who are having very busy lives, executives traveling all over the world, and people who have got big families. And it's really a case of teaching them how to cook a meal, which literally takes 5, 6 minutes, and it tastes good. The second service I have as well is obviously helping people with their health, with the particular health issues they might have, which could really vary from digestive problems to immune conditions, diabetes, heart problems, weight, which is obviously one of the most important these days, with the rapidly increasing health problem in Europe, and diabetes is one of them, obviously, so I'm quite passionate about that particular condition. I take a very scientific approach. I was trained with a particular school and institute which works on the basis of functional medicine, which is a movement created in the 25 years, 30 years ago by one of the pioneers called Jeff Bland, who is really, really fantastic in terms of his knowledge about medicine. He's a doctor, but also trained in nutrition. So he's got both hats. And what they really started doing is developing a protocol to help clients looking at their health, but not from a symptom point of view, which is the very traditional allopathic route that doctors take, which is fine, but we find that it's harder and harder to help clients with a particular problem. So what they decided to do is to create a completely different approach, looking at body systems, not isolating one particular one, so sort of grouping them together and using diagnostic tool to look at what the underlying issue might be. So doing the right test, developing a particular protocol, which is quite prescriptive, and taking a step-to-step approach, which might take time, but I think this is the thing about nutrition, it's natural, and they need to create good habits. So that's really what I'm trying to do. And the third service I do, which is probably one of my favorite one at the moment, is to work with companies, cafes, restaurants, individuals as well, and creating menus for people, because that's also one of the things that people are really, really passionate about. They want to eat well, but they don't know where to start. And a lot of cafes have had a lot of pressure from the government in the last 6 months to really be very honest about what they're putting out there, and there needs to be quite a lot of informational, nutritional information on the labels. Saturated fat, no trans fat, how much protein, because people are getting more knowledgeable about it and they want to know what they're eating. So my role really is to improve their offerings, but you also use a software which I've got, which calculates very specifically the nutritional information there is. So we're looking at protein, carbohydrates, fats, but also minerals, vitamins, and really emphasizing the reason why a particular product might be eaten. So that I really feel raises the profile of nutrition from a sort of more scientific background, which I think people are interested in these days. What I try to do with my clients is that I try to be very honest. It's not a therapy on which you actually work on people like massage or something else. So what I try to do in the consultation is to be very honest and get them motivated and understand how motivated they are themselves, because at the end of the day, they are the ones going home in the kitchen and they're on their own. So I expect my clients to have 60, 70, 80% motivation to begin with. Once they have that, then it's absolutely very easy, and the success rate is actually quite high because it's sticking to the program, obviously. But I think, there's a bit of responsibility both ends, and it's supporting the client, which I think also is what I tend to do. I like to go the extra mile. So if I see a client in a consultation and I write a comprehensive report, I do make sure that I speak to them as well. The first or second time when they receive the program, they make sure that they understand everything. They know where to go because there might be particular products that they're not used to. This is why I offer a service also, which is going with them in the supermarket the first time, because that's quite daunting when you're changing your habits, your dietary habits. So I try to do that as well, and it's really giving them the tools so that it's a step-to-step process, and this way I think it's actually more successful rather than seeing them and letting them go and to the jungle and then not knowing what they do really. So I have been working with a few doctors in the past. I was based for about 2 years in a private medical practice in Guildford. So I must say I've been very lucky to actually work closely to doctors, South African doctors, who are taking a very, again, practical approach to medicine. So they're really interested in lifestyle, etc. So I've had really, really interesting projects and clients to work with. So my particular interest and the areas I feel I can help people a lot better is anything from diabetes, blood sugar problems, obviously, weight management, which is one of the main area people are looking for advice these days. I did run a couple of weight management program, but very educational, nothing too mainstream. The aim is to educate people, obviously, on how to eat well. Therefore, the weight comes. It's not really the priority anymore. It's their health first, and the weight comes off eventually. So weight management is one of them. I do see a lot of female clients who have a lot of problem with, unfortunately, fertility. So a lot of conditions like PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, all of that we see quite a lot, helping them to obviously get healthier, which can obviously increase their chances, working a lot with hospitals on that. And of course, hormonal problems in general. A lot of heart conditions or markers such as cholesterol, triglyceride. So helping people also to look after their heart and their health, which involves a lot of changing their habits, really, lifestyle, and a few problems with chronic autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, which is unfortunately on the rise. And the last thing that I've been seeing lately, which is quite scary, is people with a lot of deficiencies as well in certain vitamins and minerals, one of them being vitamin D. There's been a lot of news in the last 6 months. Government has been pressurizing clients to go and see their GPs to have a test. A lot of children are getting rickets. It's actually coming back now. A lot of female clients who are pregnant also are very deficient. The elderly, obviously the lack of sun is one of the things that obviously is a problem, but also we have cut out in our diet a lot of dairy products, which is high in vitamin D. Cod liver oil is not really taken anymore, so it's obviously full of vitamin D as well. So there's a lot of things that people have done in the past, reading magazines, which might have actually been detrimental to their health. So it's really going back and looking at, how to reintroduce some of the food that actually are vital for us, but maybe the right amount without causing a problem. Both my parents have got diabetes. They have had diabetes for quite a long time. So I've been growing up in a family where we had to be very careful with what we eat, but not becoming impossibly healthy, that we just eat carrot and hummus all day. It's really, having a quality of life and making sure that, you're delaying things for the future. So that's really what, for me, is the most powerful aspect about nutrition. I think a lot of people are living in the moment and not really thinking too much about long term. Unfortunately, we all do that. We think we're invincible in our 20s, but comes 30, 40, it's not so great anymore. And I think preventative medicine is the future. And that really is what I'm passionate about. Second thing is myself, really. I used to work in the city, so I do understand a lot of my clients being executive, traveling, not having time to eat, to go to the gym, to look at their lifestyle, their habits. I've been there, I've been very ill, and I've had to take care of my health, and I did that for the past 5-6 years, and I do feel a lot better, and I just don't want to go back, really. So it's this constant work that you have to do with nutrition, but it's great because it's a journey, and I think people, if they do understand that it's a journey, often compare nutrition with a spectrum. It's a spectrum, and you either on the left hand side, which is the worst place to be. Now the worst case scenario would be a deep fried Mars bar. And the right hand side would be, I treat my body as a temple. Of course, nobody's like that. And it's getting to the right side of the spectrum, but slowly but surely. And it's a journey. Might take you 6 months, might take you 10 years, but who cares? You're actually doing it, and you do it for yourself, for your family, for your friends, and you make it a habit. So that's why I do what I do.